Gang, what's up? My name's Erik Hatch with Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching out of Fargo, North Dakota. And this is a good one today. I want to help you triple your sphere business. Oh man, I love me some sphere business. Business earned is far better than business purchased. Although business purchase is a part of the game, I'm going to give you some walk away steps on how you can do what we do. And let me share with you what I get to do. I wear two hats. The first hat is I am serving as CEO of Hatch Realty. We're an independent brokerage for today based out of Fargo, North Dakota. In the history of our brokerage since we opened up in 2014, and we focus as a team, Rich. We operate only as a team. We've sold about 5,200 homes since 2014. It's 2021 as I record this today, and we'll finish the year at probably 6,000 transactions in the last 8 years. Whew, that's a lot of transactions. It's been a lot of business here, and the way in which we've gotten to this point has been on the back of past clients and sphere of influence. PCSOI, as we're going to call it, so you'll hear that a lot today. Be sure that you're comfortable with that. PCSOI. We're going to sell between 12 and 1,300 homes this year, and about 60% of that comes from earned business, past clients, sphere of influence, referrals. So we've developed some really good systems that we're going to teach you, share with you, so you can copy, rip off, and duplicate, and hopefully you can crush what we do. I also get the privilege of serving as CEO and head coach of Hatch Coaching. Our job is to influence the real estate industry on how to treat your clients better and how to treat your team members better. We get to help rainmakers, people new, people experienced, and all over the board with systems, tools, and strategies in which to win. If you haven't done so, you got to go to hatchcoaching.com and start diving into some of the stuff and the available things that we have there, because it is so important. Here's where we're going, gang, is if we want to have you triple your sphere deals, triple your PCSOI deals, we need some actionable steps for you. We're going to cover who, what, where, when, why, and how. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. And please take some notes. Those of you watching live, ask me questions. Don't just have this be an Erik talks for 45 minutes kind of time, because that will be super lame for all of you. Instead, ask some questions, and I will do my best to answer those both live and after the recording. If you're watching the replay of this, no problem, no issue. Just ask the questions in the YouTube chat box and we will happily help you out. Gang, who is your past clients? Who are your sphere of influence? It doesn't matter if you're new or old. The very first thing that you need to do is you need to have your database, and your database has to have the right kind of contact information in it. So if we're talking about the who, I want to talk about your database. And that database is such an underused thing. I remember when I started out, my database was in an Excel sheet. And some of you might still be at that point. If you are still using an Excel sheet and you're watching live, please type into the chat box, say that's me, because I want to know who is still using an Excel spreadsheet. And it's not shame on you. It's just part of getting started. One of the things that's important is as you maturate your business and as you're going through, it's going to be really important that you start paying attention to getting all your deals into a CRM. A CRM is a client relationship manager. It is the thing that controls and handles all of that like back end organization stuff. And it's ways in which you can automate a lot of this. I will say this as a bold proclaiming statement, and I dare you to push back on me, but I will say that the way in which people are going to win in real estate in the future is with one of two things. Number one is technology. Don't believe me? Take a look at the Zillows of the world, right? They are tech-based companies. They are growing bigly. They have massive dollars and can reach a lot of people. Technology will win tomorrow. The other thing that wins are relationships. Relationships. If you lose, it's because you get out relationship or technology gets to them before you do. And that's what's happening so many times, is that technology is getting to our sphere and our database faster than we can, or they're creating for them a value proposition that we are failing when it comes to mastering this. And if we want to triple or quadruple or 5x our business with sphere and past clients, we have to have a strategy for it. So in your database, I think that the first thing you do is you put in your wedding list. If you have the grand fortune of having gotten married, maybe it's not the grand fortune if you got divorced, but at least for me, it's been the grand fortune of getting married. We created our wedding list. That wedding list are the people who I think are the most likely to not only give me a great gift when I get married, but actually care that I get married, and I know them well enough to have their contact information. This is the first group that goes into your database. The second group is your Christmas card list. And by the way, I think Christmas cards are the biggest waste of money that you can possibly do. Now, that list is important, but I think you should be sending out a random July 15th card. Why? Because when you send Christmas cards, like 100 people get Christmas cards. You don't remember a single one of them, but if you get a random July 15th card from somebody, you might remember that. And the idea behind all this with mastering your sphere and mastering these relationships is to do things that are remarkable. Please write down that word remarkable, because if you want to have an overwhelming business, so much so that people can't help but remark about it, remarkable leads to referable, and it leads to repeat business. And so the goal is, as we articulate all these things here of the who, what, where, when, why, and how, I want you to understand that your goal is to be remarkable. So in your database, in your CRM, by the way, the one that we use Sierra Interactive. I will send you out some info on Sierra Interactive if you're watching this live, and we will get you the information on how to utilize them as your CRM. Within that, we have Hatch messaging, we have Hatch systems, things that will do automatic touches to your database, so you don't even have to think about it. It's just going to happen. That's really good. Okay. The other piece that I want to articulate when it comes to your database is there's a book by Mike Michalowicz called The Pumpkin Plan. Mike Michalowicz wrote Profit First and just some awesome entrepreneurial books. And I want you to take a deep dive into that, because although you maybe have 200 or 300 or 400 people in your database, and I will tell you this, Troy's asking, do we have follow-up boss plans? Yes, we do, Troy. Go to our website, hatchcoaching.com, and check out Hatch messaging and systems. You'll be able to see all the follow-up boss stuff that we have offered also. We've just had some clunky ways with follow-up boss, but we have really great success with Sierra. Not saying you need to switch CRMs because that is a grind, but you will be able to get some of our services there within FUB as well. Okay, so as I was talking about, I lost my place there. Folks, bear with me. As we were talking about how about this? Rare do I lose my place, but Troy asked the question of follow-up boss, and I just got totally derailed. If somebody could type into there what I was talking about, that would be great. Book Pumpkin Plan. Thank you, Sam. Oh, hallelujah, Sam, coming to the rescue. Okay, so in the Pumpkin Plan, there's 7 steps in order to grow big pumpkins. Step number 6, and the pumpkins we're talking about are like these county fair, blue ribbon winning, unbelievable pumpkins that everybody talks about, that everybody loves, and everybody goes to take their picture with. You don't go to a pumpkin patch to take a picture with gourds. Instead, you go to a pumpkin patch to see the big old pumpkins, right? And to be wowed at how awesome that is. And the idea behind the Pumpkin Plan is that you want to not focus on all your pumpkins. They say step number 6 is give all your attention to the big pumpkins. And so in your CRM, in your database, or in your Excel sheet, you have your Christmas list, you have your Christmas card list, excuse me. You then have your wedding list. By the way, Facebook and Instagram are your greatest CRMs that you have. You already are connected to and have ways to communicate with those people. That is the greatest CRM that you have is Facebook and Instagram. I put LinkedIn in that too, but I just don't use LinkedIn. And the goal is to follow the Pumpkin Plan with this. In the Pumpkin Plan, you don't give all your energy and attention to everybody equally. Instead, you find the few, the mighty, the ones that are most likely to give you referrals or repeat business. Back when I used to sell houses, I mean, I still run a real estate company, right? But back when I used to sell houses, I found myself diving deep into a few relationships. I had a builder that I had 50 transactions a year that came from. An awesome amount of opportunity for me with this builder. In addition to that, I had a client who was an investor, and he bought like 10 to 15 houses a year. 2 relationships, 65 deals annually. Not all clients are created equal, and they shouldn't get the same thing for you. The biggest problem that all y'all have with your database is that you're either not doing anything, that's probably you, or you're treating everybody equal. And if your database feels automated, and if they don't feel like there's customized touches that happen for them, and that is the key word here as well, as if you want something to lead to something being remarkable, it has to be customized. It can't be this one size fits all. It instead needs to be a customized plan. So the who is in your CRM. And yes, you should get a minimum of 200 people in your CRM. And then you also have Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. You then need to narrow that down to your big pumpkins. To narrow that down to your big pumpkins means you might have 10 or 20 or 30. I think you should have no more than 50 big pumpkins that you're giving your attention to. And within that, you might have your A's, B's, and C's, but like you'll have your big pumpkin list of those that you're giving attention to. That's the very first thing you need to do, is you need to have the who figured out. The what is next. Remember, who, what, where, when, why, and how is where we're going. We've established the who. Now we're going to say what. What are you going to do for these folks? Write down the number 12, because I think 12 is repeatable and duplicatable and scalable. By the way, if you can't do this with scale, and if you can't do this with a plan, you won't get consistent results. The reason why so many realtors ride this up and down wave of business is because they don't repeat, they don't systemize, they don't duplicate, and they don't standardize what this is. We allow our emotions and our instincts to go after our sphere of influence, and we use our dollars to chase after business that is purchased. In the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, kind of the Bible of how to build a real estate team, they say that a have not met, like a pay-per-click forced registration lead, this is something that you purchase, a have not met has a 2% conversion rate. That means you have to buy 50 leads and nurture them over an extended period of time in order to get one of those to work out. By the way, we've studied the time with Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching from the time in which a pay-per-click or forced registration lead, which is your least expensive lead, comes into your inbox until when it actually closes. And on average, that is 640 days. If you're talking a Zillow lead, a Realtor.com lead, a Trulia lead, a radio lead, something that is an expensive purchase, that is a higher conversion rate than 2%, and a maturation and nurture date of about 180 days from the time in which they first raise their hand until when they close. That lead on average, let's take Zillow. Zillow leads are what? 150 to 300 bucks a piece, depending on your market. And if you're good, you're going to get a 10% conversion rate. So after you're going to spend $2,000 to $3,000, you're going to convert that lead. Ugh. Right? Can we all just cumulatively say at your computer screen right now, ugh. The idea that we're going to have to spend $2,000 to $3,000 in order to close a deal sucks. Now, in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, they say people that are METs, people that are in your database, people that are your big pumpkins, you should get a 2 and 12 conversion rate. 2 and 12. Why not 1 and 6? Why don't they just shrink that fraction down? It's because for every 12 people in your database, one person should give you a referral and one should give you their own personalized business. Now, in the new MREA book that I keep hearing about, but I've never seen or read, I hear that is now down to a 2 and 20. So we can either say 16.67% or 10%, but nonetheless, I don't think that it's going to cost you $2,000 to $3,000 per deal that you want to close. In fact, it's going to cost you your time and a little bit of money that you can oftentimes get vendors to pay for. So I said there's 12 things that you want to do. The what is our calendar, okay? So this is literally month by month, and I think that those that are in your database should be touched 12 times. The pumpkins, especially the big 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50, for sure 12 times a month. You can deviate and automate with the rest of the database a little bit, but there should still be some customized within that. So here's how this looks. The first 4 touches come from client events. These client events are things like over the week of Thanksgiving, Pie Day, giving away a free pie. By the way, Costco's pies are like 12 inches in size, and they're going to have the scalability to sell you hundreds of pies. We do the largest pie day in the country. We did 1,800 pumpkin pies for our past clients and friends this last year. And so remember, I said that you're going to do 2 events a year. So you may do a St. Patrick's Day thing, or you may do a movie night. We have a whole bunch of ways to teach you how to do really great client events. And we say client event, but really it's a community event. You can do photos with Santa. You can do an ice cream truck. There's lots of things that you can do. And I'm going to say that if you do 2 of those events, you're going to get a minimum of 4 touches. We want to do 12 touches, and we're going to do at least 4 in the event. Here's how unbelievable touches work. And it's, by the way, it's going to be more than 4, but if you do it right, it looks like this. First is the invite. Invites are through text, through email, through phone calls, through Facebook notifications, through direct messaging. These kind of customized touches and these kind of customized invites are super important to do. Notice I use that word customized because if I send to my good buddy something that feels copied and pasted or something that's blind carbon copied, I've now made him feel transactionalized, or I've made her feel miserable because I didn't do a way, I didn't make them feel special, right? The whole goal of this is for somebody to feel special. If you want to triple your business, they need to have a feeling. They want to be remarkably overwhelmed with how great you are. So the invite's going to happen. By the way, you're going to probably have to invite 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 times. It can't be a one-time invite. It takes a lot of follow-up. Anytime I try to invite people to an event, if it's like a Hatch coaching event in our summit that's coming up in September, which y'all are invited to, I'm going to have to email you, text you, bother you. I see Danny Deedles on here. I've had to message him so many times just to get him to come to an event. It's exhausting, and you're going to have to do that same thing with your clients and your friends. You're going to have to send them message after message after message. But I'm going to categorize that as just one time, because for some people it's going to be 1, and for others it's going to be 8. I just want you to know that the invite is 1 touch. Then there's a reminder the day before or the day of the event, and you're sending them a text message or an email or a phone call reminding them to show up. You're still going to get like a 20% no-show rate, by the way. 15 to 20% of people won't show even if they register. You then have them actually attending the event, and sometimes it's like I'm showing up and just taking something for free and leaving. Other times you're actually asking for their time. We've thrown a big parking lot party called Hatch Stock. So we have inflatable games and a live band and free food and drinks, and so people will stay for hours. You get awesome FaceTime when you do something like that. But nonetheless, the invites touch number 1, and then they show up as touch number 2. And you do that 2 times in a year, so that's 4 touches. Now, there's actually the best way to do it, and that is the follow-up touch, whether they came to the event or not. If they didn't come to the event and they RSVP'd, no, you still call them afterwards and you say, hey, Brandon, I'm so glad that you came to the event. Or if Brandon didn't come, I'm going to say, hey, Brandon, really missed you at the event. I love spending time with you, right? You make people feel seen, valued, heard, appreciated, and that will help you to getting a ton more referrals. So we said there's 12 things. The first 4 touches come from 2 client events, and you do a minimum of 2 touches at each. That's the first. The next 4 touches are done quarterly. Spread these out every 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th month of the year. You're going to schedule a day or 2 to contact your big pumpkins, or you're going to do an hour a day until you're done. And these are customized phone calls. These are not necessarily phone calls asking for business. Instead, these are phone calls bringing value. See, the secret behind all this is that you are to bring value. You are giving, not taking. Give, not take. Please write that down. Please don't mess up on this, because if you want a business that is 60% SOI and past clients, and you want to sell 800 homes a year to just that group, it's about how you make them feel. And so 4 times a year, you call someone. or you visit them face to face. It can be either or. I love the phone because it's scalable. There's an app called Marco Polo. It's video messaging, and it's one of my favorite ways to communicate because you get face to face. You can tell the energy and the emotion that's behind it. It's my favorite way to communicate with people. In these touches here, when you're going after it quarterly, I would call up and I would say, Kathy, I was just thinking about you the other day. I was making a list of gratitude of people I'm thankful for in my life, and Kathy Purcell, I see that you're one of those people that I just really care about. Just wanted to check in and see how you're doing, right? Or you take Facebook and social media, which gives you information about their life, and you then call them. You then call them and you make social media go from online to offline. Kathy, I saw you just welcomed your first grandchild into the world. Oh my gosh, how is that? Right? This is a value give. This is a I see you, you matter, I care about you kind of outreach. You do that 4 times a year, every 3 months. Now, 4 for client events, 4 for those personal touches, 2 for house anniversaries and birthdays. I made 4 phone calls today to people that are close in my life, and I start my day off every day. And if it's somebody I'm really close with, somebody who I consider a big pumpkin, or somebody who I just value on a high accord, I don't post on their Facebook wall happy birthday, and I don't send them a card just because I'm not a mail guy. But instead, I call them. Facebook even tells you when their birthday is. You can see today whose birthday is coming up tomorrow. Now, some people are using services out there right now to do this, and they're sending messages like the day before saying, hey, I see it's your birthday tomorrow. I wanted to be the first to tell you happy birthday. And they're sending them a direct message on Facebook. That's all fine, well, and good until you get like 3 of the same message. And you're like, well, this was just an automated plan. I don't feel cared about by this person. You want to make somebody feel cared about, call them, or visit them, okay? So those are touches 9 and 10. The last 2 touches on how to take great care of your past clients and sphere of influence. It's a pop by. It's visiting them. It's showing up where they're at, and or it's sending them an item of value. See, if you understand the 5 love languages, it's such a good book, by the way. There's 5 love languages. The first is physical touch. You probably need not mess with that one when it comes to your past clients and sphere of influence. Then there's words of affirmation. You want to pop by and just say, you know what, I was thinking about you and I really care about you. Words of affirmation. These all have specificity on them. Words of affirmation is the first. Second is acts of service. Go and mow somebody's lawn for them. Go and find a way to do some work around their place, or spruce something up, or get their car detailed. I mean, there's pretty amazing things that you can do. The third is receiving gifts. And receiving gifts is always an interesting one because gifts are not about Christmas gifts and Valentine's Day presents. Now, these are customized gifts saying, I saw this, I thought of you. That's one of these amazing touches that you can do. And the final one is quality time, is just spending time with them and going out of your way. Notice in all 12 of these, we didn't talk about real estate once. This is a foundation that you will build on talking about real estate, because people know you're a realtor. You wear your name on your shirt, or you have it in your social media stuff, but like it is so important to, like, I could tell you plans to do on social media of how to be really creative or awesome, but I would much rather you follow these 12 steps for your big pumpkins in your database so that you can start to crush, okay? We covered the who, we covered the what. The where is really simple. In-person wins all day, every day. It's the top of the food chain. Followed by what? What's followed by phone calls? Phone calls are far above anything else. Underneath phone calls, I would put handwritten letters. In person, then phone calls, then handwritten letters. I'd then maybe say text messaging and direct messaging is number 4. By the way, Michael Mayer has a book called The 7 Levels of Communication, but it's a little outdated in terms of how to break down all this, because you'll have like mass mailers and that sort. I'm talking about people in your database here, people who you already know, like, and trust, and they know, like, and trust you. So 4th is text messaging. and direct messaging through social media. And then the fifth level would be just social media touches. And if you want to know how to get the potency out of this, you got to be at the top of that pyramid and the top of that food chain. Hope you wrote that down because we're moving on that quickly, because the next question is when. We covered who, we covered what, we covered where, now when. When is every month for your big pumpkins? Let's talk about those that aren't your big pumpkins. Can you and should you invite them to your client events? Yes. Can you scale out your lead generation efforts so that you're touching them and you're calling them the same way? Yes. If we're to weigh out what's important in your database, you have 1,000 purchased leads and 10 people who could be raving fans. Which one is going to have you win long term? Remember, technology and relationships are the way in which you'll win. So for this over here, for the 10 that are in your database, you have to know and you have to follow through to say, that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to crush. That's who I'm going to give my time and my energy to. Now, there is an awesome, and I'm going to send it to you. Those of you watching live, I'm going to send it to you. Those of you who are not watching live, you should go to hatchcoaching.com and take a look at the workout of the day, or the RWAD. This is an awesome opportunity for you, because oftentimes we go to our lead generation efforts and we don't know what to do or what to do with them. I give you a customized, frameable, here's what you need to do, and it's stolen from CrossFit. If you've ever done CrossFit, when you walk in, they have a WOD, a workout of the day, and they tell you exactly what to do, how many reps, which exercises to do, and you're able to walk in and they have a plan for you. See, a lot of us look at our database and we go, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I got to encourage you to develop a plan for that. What is it? Incorrect action is far better than perfect inaction. I think I said that right. It's much better to do the work, to do the action, to get people going. And even if it's not the right steps, it's far better than just sitting around hoping, waiting, wishing for business to come to you. So this realtor workout of the day looks like this. Every day you show up and you know who you're going to contact. You know how you're going to contact them. So let's say you have 200 people in your database. I would say that it's imperative that you're contacting a minimum of 5 a day. 5 a day at 200, that's 40 days. That's every 2 months. Meaning if you have 200 people in your database and you're contacting 5 of them a day, you can do so every 2 months. That's 6 touches for your database. These aren't your big pumpkins, by the way. This is everybody else that's in there. And then you go through that pyramid of, like, you have in-person, before phone calls, before handwritten notes, before text messaging, before social media, right? Follow that along and you will have a really scalable business. You just need to make sure that you're hammering out 5 a day. And then how are you going to do it? Well, some you might send handwritten notes to, or, for 2 months, if you have that 200 people in your database, 20 people, you're doing 25 people a week. So you can do that for 8 weeks. First round, you're calling. Next round, you're texting. Next round, maybe you're calling again. Next round, your handwritten notes. And you can hammer through that and systemize that really well. Instead of just going, I don't know what to do, create for yourself an RWAD, a realtor workout of the day, and a plan on how to execute for your database. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. We've covered who, what, where, when. Do I really need to talk about why? Like, I'm going to, but I hope it's like this obvious. I'm watching this, I'm trying to digest this because I think it's that valuable. You can earn all your business and you don't need to buy all your business. I've coached some of the top teams in the country, and I have some coaching clients, and I had some coaching clients who have 70 to 80% of their business that come from one lead source. And that lead source is not PCSOI. That lead source is Zillow. What happens when Zillow changes the game? Because they're changing it all the time, right? What happens to that person's business? What happens when you are reliant on just one lead source that is not one that you control? In fact, a lot of us love our communications through social media, and we send people to our Facebook page, but we don't control that. Actually, at Hatch Coaching, we had our Facebook page hijacked. We can't get into it. We've been unable to access it for like a month and a half. Robbie on my team got his Facebook got hijacked, and they went in and kicked us all off as owners and administrators, and we can't get back into it right now. We can't control our mediums. It's out of our control. But what we can control is our own website, and we can control our own efforts. And therein lies the opportunity for you, is for you to control your outcome. Why do you do this? It's a really simple answer. Because you're going to be in control of your business, nobody else. And if you give somebody else control, it's not going to go the way in which you want. Yes, make hay while the sun's shining. And yes, you have to have 3 levels of business. You have to cater to the past client sphere of influence, PCSOI, that's one. You have the low-hanging fruit of I need business right now, and I'm going to spend my way to the top. And then you have, of course, that long-term nurture game, and all 3 legs to that stool are the only way that you will stand appropriately. But I would rather have you just stand on PCSOI when you can get there. The final piece is how. I have homework for you. I hope you're willing to do your homework, but you have to do a few things here if you want to get really great on this. Number 1, get your database robust. Minimum of 200 people. Remember, it's your past clients. It's your Christmas list, is your Christmas card list, and it, of course, is your wedding list. You can utilize social media as your CRM also, but you need to have at least 200 people identified, and then shrink it down to 50 or less big pumpkins. That's the first step of how. Number 2, what? What do you do? Well, we talk about the 12 touches, a minimum of 12 touches for your big pumpkins, and a minimum of 6 touches for everybody else in your database. And you can plan that out. You can schedule that, and it should happen daily, Monday through Friday. Number 3, where? In person, number 1, followed by phone call, followed by handwritten note, followed by text message and direct messaging through social media, followed by social media. Those 5 in that order. Then you have the when. When do you do it? It is a minimum of 5 contacts a day, 5 days a week. If you want to be great with your past clients and sphere of influence, and you want to triple your business, y'all gotta have a plan. With that, you gotta have a plan to come to Fargo. Fargo this September 22nd through the 24th, is the real estate and leadership development event of the year. Fargo is an awesome place. We have amazing amenities for you to come and use. There is no other event like it in the industry. We're going to give you $100 off discount right now because we have early bird specials going on. Otherwise, we will get you a discount code. We'll send that out in the email. And we want you to come save some money, come to Fargo, and be at the premier real estate event. We want you here. Go to hatchcoaching.com/hatch-summit to find those details. Those of you watching live, we will email this out to you. And this is the event of all events. We're going to dive deep into this topic, everything else about lead conversion, everything else about building a team, everything about being your best self. And oh, it's so good. And we want you here. So watch your inbox, get signed up, take advantage of this discount code, and we will see you in September. If you have any questions at all, I'm going to stay online. I'll stop the recording unless it gets good, and then I'll hit record again. But I'll stop the recording here. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. But otherwise, go to hatchcoaching.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and find Hatch Coaching on there and get all these videos and more. Love you, appreciate you, and thanks for joining me today.